Hello, everybody. It's Aaron once again on the channel. It's been a while, and we are back with a very important interview session today with the champion of the Malaysia Regional League 2023-2024, Rinesh John. Hi, Rinesh. How are you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm good, man. Thanks, Aaron.
Great to have you with us. For all those of you who have been living under a rock, this weekend was the Malaysia Regional League for the new 2023-2024 season. It was at Pavilion Bukit Jalil, which is now, I think, the favorite location for regionals in Malaysia at this point. 8 rounds of best of one Swiss, top 16 day two cut, best of three, and Rinesh won it all. An undefeated run with Charizard, Pidgeot, RCS, or if you like to call it, for whatever reason, you call it ACP, which is RCS, Charizard, Pidgeot, or APC, I don't know which one, bro. But what an amazing run, right? What an amazing day one that you had. You had a round one bye, but you breezed through the competition. And in day two, you just sapu everything. That's the most. That's the only way I can think of it, right? The only word I can use is you just sapu everybody. How do you feel right now, bro?
Um, to be honest, it's not sunk in yet fully that that I won a regionals because things been a crazy 2 weeks.
Mm.
Not only the regionals but the week before, right? The league down started off from the league down until the regionals. So it's not sunk in yet fully, but I think it slowly will. Once I'm like settled down, everything is fine. So yeah, but I'm happy. I'm actually very happy that I actually won a regionals. So yeah.
Awesome stuff. Congratulations once again.
Thank
You pulled it off at one of the biggest events in Southeast Asia. I think this is officially the biggest event in Malaysia. 367 Masters players playing
Yep.
day one and day two. And then we had like, I think up like 30 or almost 40 juniors and seniors day two having their own tournament as well, which is honestly crazy. We
Crazy,
essentially
yeah.
hit 400 plus. And there were
Yep.
people who had to be turned away,
Yes, and there
right?
was like when I was there, I heard around 70 plus walk-in got turned away. So
Exactly. It's crazy. It's Malaysia is really popping off as one of the biggest regions for Pokemon TCG in Southeast
yes.
Asia. And even you think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've come a long way, right? Considering the
Of course.
years and years we've played. For those of the viewers that don't know you, I think there's going to be
Mm-hmm.
a very small group of people. I think everyone knows you by now, right?
Yep.
Could you just give a brief introduction of yourself? Your background, where you're from, and also in terms of the Pokemon TCG, how long you've been playing?
Okay. You all should know me by now. My name is Rinesh John. My Pokemon is actually RJ. I'm from Subang Jaya, and I've been playing since 2014. So I started in the X and Y era. That is when me and Adawin, both of us joined together, and that is how we started getting into Pokemon. So yeah.
Very nice. This hit 2014. That was the year. I believe that was the year of Virizion Genesect, and then right after that, Yveltal came out. From what I
Yes.
remember.
Yveltal and Xerneas. Yes,
All
yes.
right. No, it's a blast from the past. Right, going down memory lane to think about all these
Yep.
Pokemon.
Yep.
Great to hear.
When I joined, it was the plasma Genesect that was going crazy, the Verizon. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
awesome stuff. Awesome
Yep.
stuff. And now we've come. What? This is like 9 years in the making,
Yep.
and you have honestly been, as you said, the last couple of weeks had been a crazy time for you. You have been active in these two events, but you also mentioned previously when we caught up a couple of times that you were thinking about retirement. What's up with that, man? Talk to me about this whole. I know it's a joke among us, among a few people, but talk to me about this whole idea that hey, you're just in and out and you're not expecting to be competing. What happened then?
Okay, so actually it's still the same. Actually, what happened was I was enjoying myself, and then at one point you're already like in the working phase of life, and you don't have time.
Mm,
Yeah, so it started like I started losing interest, but then this is Pokemon. It's a childhood thing that is in us, right? So we will suddenly when you don't want to play, then 2 weeks later when you are stressed, the first thing you do is, oh, let's play some cards. So it was just like that. And then in the year 2020, when COVID hit us badly, everything changed, like our priorities, more to
mm.
family time. So I think that's the time when I decided, I think I'm done with Pokemon. I'm just like just watch, just look at the cards. And then in the year 2022, these guys were like, come, let's just do one last ride. One last ride, let's do it. And that was last year. But then unfortunately, some of y'all don't know, but I broke my leg
Oh
one
man.
day. Yeah, one day before the sorry, yeah, one day before the regionals. And once I broke my leg, I was like 3 4 months recovery, which means I would miss the
Mm.
regionals. And yeah, so this year I decided, you know what, let's do this, what I've missed last year, because I really wanted to go Japan.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, so this year I decided, you know what, I'm not going to chase, but if it comes, it comes. So yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. No, it's a very well said, very well said summary that you gave about, the whole idea of COVID happening, things changing, so much going on.
Hmm.
Great to hear that this time around you didn't, let last year's experience deter you from competing in this year, right? That's the whole idea about bouncing back, which is great to hear from you, man. That's one of the
Oh,
biggest things.
thanks, man.
Yeah, let's get into the tournament itself. I know people watching, the viewers that we normally have on the channel are mostly local viewers, right? We have local
Okay.
viewers, and they're always keen to know about the decks that you pick, and your performance with the deck. You chose Charizard, and the
Hmm.
flavor of it is Charizard with Arceus and Pidgeot, right?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is a little different than what some of the other folks have been playing. Some folks have tried to play the Entei and Forest Hillstone build, right?
Yeah.
Dropping the Arceus totally. That's the build that I played, and I didn't do too
Mhm.
well, obviously, because I'm a noob.
No,
So,
no.
and I should have just played Arceus because this is the first time I've not played Arceus in 2 years.
Mhm.
So a bit of a backlash from the Pokemon God. Talk to me about your deck choice, right? What's the whole
Okay.
reasoning behind this particular choice? This
Mhm.
particular flavor of the deck as well.
Okay. So when Charizard came out, we all knew that it's a playable card. Like
Mm.
finally, there's a Charizard that is playable. Okay.
Yep.
But what is going to partner Charizard? So when I went to like some of the shops, I was asking around. I was just looking, their builds and everything was more to like a pure Charizard deck, or this was a starting, yeah. So a pure Charizard deck, or a like a Charizard with a very heavy supporter line like research and stuff like that.
Mm.
So I was like, nah. I tried once or twice, but it didn't. It was not a style, it's like sometimes you research three rare candies away, and then you are like, how am I going to play? So then the build started coming out. Like few of them started playing the Lost Zone Zard, and then another one was the one that you just said, Ente Zard. But a Lost Zone Zard and an Ente Zard, in my opinion, yeah, it's not something that's proven, but it's my opinion that it's a better of a best of three deck rather than a best of one.
Mm.
Because a best of one deck for me is always has to be something surprising and aggressive. Okay, so which means let me just, I know it's running out of topic, but let me just take you back
No,
to the Asia
go
Open.
for it. No, this is a
Yeah.
this is a good way to segue into. Go for it.
Okay, so Asia Open, you see, I played a Reggie Gigas, a deck that no one would expect. And I made it such a way it's supposed to be aggressive, just research, just aggressive all the way. Because why? It's a best of one. The deck is not suitable for best of three, but I'm looking at, okay, you know what, let's go to day two, and then from there let's just,
Mm.
let's try our level best. Yeah, so back to this Charizard thing. I was trying the Charizard Arceus build, and I felt like, wow, this is aggressive. And I felt like this is faster than the Entei Charizard build. Of course, Charizard Entei build was more consistent, okay,
Mm.
but this deck was more aggressive, which made me choose favor this style more. So yeah.
Very good summary, man. That's a very interesting take about the whole best of one versus best of three. And as
Mm.
and I know, and maybe folks online on the, watching this right now may not know, the day one system here in Malaysia and the rest of the region in Southeast Asia is
Mhm.
actually best of one. And then when you get to day two, then you start your best of three, right?
Yes.
So you're telling me that the list that no no the style of chart that you're playing right now is best suited for best of one,
Hmm.
but I'm sure it still can do pretty well in best of two, right? Best of three, right? Because your record in best of three, and we'll get to it later on, is impeccable. We will jump into that a little bit,
Yep.
But great summary overall, right, about your list. And let's take a deeper look at your list, because there are a lot of interesting choices here. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I as I mentioned, I also played Charizard. I may
Mm-hmm.
not have done really well with it, but I do enjoy playing the deck. It was a very fun deck to play
Mm-hmm.
personally, you know.
Yep.
But some choices you made here definitely stand out, right? The one-off worker, you
Mm-hmm.
know, the inclusion of Magma Basin,
Yep.
the inclusion of the 151 Charizard EX, and that it's a very important point to note. 151 was legal for this event. It was the first major event with 151 legal.
Yep.
And of course that Entei, which that's a wow factor card. Like, people say Entei in Charizard, oh, you're talking about Entei V, but you're playing a different Entei altogether. You know, this is the one prizer Entei. So
Yep.
in essence, right? Looking
Mm-hmm.
at your list,
Okay.
what do you think, were some of the highlight cards that you played during the weekend? What were the stuff? What are the cards here that really made a big difference?
Okay. So actually, you touched on all the important cards. So let's start off with Entei. Okay.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
this takes me back to Town League. Okay. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Town League. The day before, I was in MYU. We were like practicing few games. I was just watching everyone playing, and then I met this Alakazam deck, and I just died to the Alakazam deck. I was like, yo, how do I counter this deck? Even though Alakazam weakness is darkness, but I
Yep.
can't hit Mimikyu. So the guy just took out one Mimikyu and he was just standing there hitting me with 7 damage, there's 7 damage counter, 7 damage counter.
Yep.
So I went back home and I was like, yo, this is going to be a problem for me. So I decided, you know what, just go to PTCG Live and then, just try out few things.
Mm.
And in that PTCG Live, I met like in 6 games, I met 4 Alakazams and I lost all 4 of them. I was
Ouch.
like, you know what?
Ah.
I'm gonna find the best baby Pokemon just to make sure I have an advantage. And then I added Entei into the deck. And the most funny part is the most really funny part is at the league down round 7, my final round, I actually fought an Alakazam who was 6-0.
Aha.
And my Entei took all 6 price cards. So I was like, you know what? This Entei is going to be confirm cut in my list. So and to be frank, during regionals, Ante actually helped me in 2 games
Mm.
where the opponent played box of disaster. So
Mm.
Ante can actually chip off the damage, and then it's fine if you hit my Ante, right? So yeah, so that's what I include Ante. Next, Charizard 151. I think this one a lot of people actually ask me, why do you play this Charizard 151? Let me just summarize it easily. Okay, the Magma Basin combo with the Charizard 151 helps me in a mirror match. Okay, so in my top 4, which later we are going to get into it, that is
Yep.
what made me won one game. Even my round 5 or 4, I can't recall, but Charizard 151 is the one who did 330 damage. So it's a wild card. It's a card that no one expected, but it helped me in 2 or 3 matchup as well. And then another card I need to give a shout out was PG. I think PG Call for Family is the it saved me in so many times. Like legit saved me so many times. When you're breaking, I have an Arceus Vista in my hand. I just put PG Call for Family is on the bench. Arceus V. The next turn I know I'm going to set it up. So that's the 3 cards. You even mentioned Worker. So I
Mm.
was worried about part of the pick, and I was
Yep.
thinking any way else that I can to bump it if I get let's say Iono, or if I get judged. I might get a
Mm.
Worker in my hand rather than a Stadium as well, and I can draw 3 cards. So that is why I included Worker, and also Worker should help me in 3 to 4 games itself. So yeah.
Very well said. Very well said. It's an amazing deck list. To say the least. When I first saw your deck list before Regional League, because you sent it in for a potential feature video, and I told her, hey, I didn't get to feature it. I think
Mm.
you planned out to be able to win the event so that you get featured lah on the channel, which is a heads up move. Like, you did a full 360. I was like, yeah, you didn't feature my deck list for the top 5 deck video, but I will make sure that the list will eventually land on the channel, which honestly, all credit to you. So, great stuff, great
That's
list
actually
overall.
Aaron, actually I missed out on one more thing. So
Sure.
I did actually another 2 more changes, which actually is a very important thing.
Mm-hmm.
There was inclusion of Lost City in my deck. So
Okay.
in the Town League, I was playing actually 2 Artazon and 1 Magma
Yep.
Basin.
Yep.
But then I changed it to 2 Lost City, which actually was very impactful against Lost Zone Tina and LZB. So yeah,
Great stuff. Yeah, it's a very sometimes under the radar change, right? Like you play Artazon, then you just swap it to Lost City. They're still both cards that you use to bounce path,
yeah,
obviously. But I think looking at the list that I've seen, at least from the region league, a lot of Zard decks have moved away from Artazon and gone into Lost City, which it's actually trying to tell us that in Malaysia at least, people
hmm,
are very concerned about Lost Zone Box, right?
yeah,
And it's still one of the most played decks in Malaysia. It didn't do too well in our regional league. Actually,
yeah.
none of them, if I
None of
recall,
them,
none
yes,
made top 16.
yeah.
I know, but look at Peoria, right? Peoria regionals over in the
I
US.
think most of the top 16 was LZBs.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So I think it's a very good call, and maybe because in Malaysia everyone just played enough Lost City to make sure that we keep the Lost Zone Box out of top cut, right? So
Yep.
awesome stuff, awesome stuff. So in essence, I think the main thing now that I really want to get into is, let's jump into your matchups, right? We're looking at matchups right now. This to me is a superb show of strength, right?
Mm,
You went through, your day one,
mm,
8-0, coming in at the first seed, right?
yep.
Of course, you had a round one bye from that Town League win for the previous week,
Hmm.
but then winning 7 games in a row after that. Perfect record for day one. And then day two, you went in as top seed. We talk about the curse of the first. Actually,
Yep.
there's only been two instances of a player winning the tournament
Hmm.
as first seed. One was in 2016, one was
Okay.
actually just last year in another regional league. So you are now
Okay.
the third in the last, I believe, 10 years of
Hmm.
Pokemon TCG history in Southeast Asia of someone winning the tournament after coming in at first seed, right? Superb
Okay.
stuff, right? Looking at it. So, look at the matchups, right? What do you think? There's a good variety of matchups here. You have Carlos Lugia, you play against a couple of Chen Pao, a couple of Law Zone decks, even Mew, featured a few times to be fair. You know,
Hmm.
what would you say, right,
Hmm.
were your tougher matchups throughout your day one and your day two?
Okay. So my first all of them are tough. Okay, but let's say the toughest was obviously round 8 against Kajen Chen Pao.
Mm,
Kajan's a very good player. Of course, he proved it in the Asia Open, right? He's the Asia
yep.
champion, and it was a tough matchup against him. And because he plays it in a like a different level of the confidence and the way he plays it is like a very aggressive style, just like how I like to play it.
Mm,
So that is why I feel like that match was tough. And then of course top 16. Wow, the nervousness against Blastoise EX, because that was something that no one expected, right?
yep.
So, yeah, so though that the whole day I was thinking, oh my god, if there was two Blastoise, okay, I'm dead, because it can just one shot all my Pokemon, except Charizard, obviously, but
Yep.
it can one shot my Pidgeot and Arceus. So that was what I was worried. So for me, that too was a tough matchup. Of course, I'm saying all of it was tough, just that this was like another level. So yeah.
Well said, well said. And shout out to Alex Chi for that top 16 placement with Blastoise EX and Palkia. Who would have thought Blastoise would be playable, man? That is a
Exactly. The thing is,
crazy.
I was with him throughout the process. With him and
Mm.
Leong, Aaron Lim, they were building his deck, and oh my god, you will be like, you laugh when people plays against it, but when you are against it, you'll be like, oh my god, it's scary.
There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, no, it was the standout card or standout deck in the top 16 list, right? He sneaked in at 16 seed,
Yes.
and he was having a pretty good day as well. When I caught up with him, he was having a good run. I think it was like 5-0 or 4-0 at one
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
People were just not expecting the stories.
Yes.
But still, at the end of the day, Charizard was by far the deck of the event, right? I think we had four Charizards in top 16, which is more
Mm-hmm.
than any other deck amongst the Malaysian contingent.
Mm.
So then my question would be this,
Mm.
you know, you chose Charizard, right? And I think a lot of players now looking into the results, looking at this video, watching this video right now, maybe playing at their local game store, or even playing on Pokemon TCG Live, right?
Mm. Mm.
what would your advice be for some of those players who are looking to pick up your deck and play? What do you, what could you impart as some knowledge to these players who are looking at it and say, wow, Rinesh just won the biggest event in Malaysia with Charizard. I want to play this deck.
Um, uh, okay, so for me, it's like as I said before, it's the style of your the play style. So let's say now you want to play the deck that I want. Okay, fine. But then it's sometimes you are the type. Maybe you're the type of person who doesn't like to be aggressive. Like to let's have a good setup and let's attack. Like after I have a very good setup. Some people like to aggressive. So it depends on your play style.
Hmm.
But let's say you pick up my deck, my exact 60 list, and you play. That's what happened. Okay, if you don't mind, I share.
Sure.
Kani actually took my list, and so on Sunday there was a 2-on-2 side event.
Hmm.
Okay, so Kani actually took my exact 60 and he played and he won all his matches as well. So he was like, "Whoa, what is this? So easy and so aggressive." So it all depends on your play style. It's like for me, if you don't like the style of too aggressive, then this is not the deck for you. Yeah, you can go with the Charizard Ente build,
Hmm.
much more consistent. Yeah, so yeah, that is my advice. Just always play that suits your play style. So yeah.
Wise words from the new regional champion from Malaysia. So, in that sense, we come to the end pretty much of this interview, right? Now
Mm.
that you're a regional league winner, what are you most excited for, not just for the coming months, but for the rest of the season? Anything in particular that you are looking forward to at this point?
Um. As actually nothing. Just join any tournaments. Just join. For me, it's not something that it's of course I'm happy that I won this tournament, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not something that what next 2 months I'm going to win this much of tournaments. It's not like that. It just comes with the flow. If there's a next league down and if I get selected, okay, I'll be there. If I don't get selected, okay, I'll be sleeping on a Saturday afternoon. So yeah, it's not that I'm gonna go line up, let's get more points. It's not like that. It's just that if I get selected, I'll go. If I don't get selected, it's fine. you know and what I'm excited is based on this event, 300 over plus players. That
Mm-hmm.
means I am excited to go to see and bring in more players into this Pokemon community. I would like, to there, we are happy, there's more and more players. I bet
Yeah.
the next regionals we have, I think we can touch 400, 450 easily. And
Easily.
so
Easily.
easily, yeah, easily we can touch 400, 450. So if you ask me, my next 2, 3 months, other than events, I want to like promote Pokemon more. I want to help the juniors. I want to be like, yeah, everyone, let's enjoy this game together. So yeah.
Nicely said. That is honestly a noble cause, right? To try and bring up the game again, like amongst not just masters players but juniors and seniors, all of us collectively enjoying the game, the community as well. And now I think
Yes.
we're at a very good spot, right? We just hit 367.
Yep.
We are very likely to hit 400 the next regional league. I am very sure of it. And if anyone from
100%. Yeah.
anyone from the organizing team listening to this, you guys should really prepare, for a potential 400-person event in Malaysia,
Yes.
because it's going to happen. We hear about Indonesia doing very well. We hear about Thailand doing very well. Even Singapore and Philippines, all attendances are increasing. Hong Kong reaching almost 1,000 players.
1,000.
It's
Yes.
happening here in Malaysia as well. The game is spiraling. It's growing so quickly. And the one thing that I have to really mention, just a shout out to all the players and community members who helped curate and collect the data for the
Mm-hmm.
event that we just played. Like literally 1 hour after your win, Vinesh,
Okay.
the
Okay.
entirety of the list of results
Okay.
from the first to the 16th place, we
Okay.
had it on Facebook. It was completely ready online
Wow.
within like
Within an hour.
an hour and a
Wow.
half, okay, an hour, maybe
Wow.
90 minutes. It was completely
Wow.
crowdsourced,
Okay.
from people just on Facebook messaging each other, hey, do you have this list? Do you have this person's name? It was completely crowdsourced, right?
Wow.
I've never seen that in all my years, playing
Mm,
Pokemon
mm, mm,
TCG,
mm,
trying to
mm.
gather data of the player base.
Mm.
You have been one of the few people also that have been willingly, providing information. You send me your list online without having, any concerns about, oh, I'm going to keep this for myself for now.
Yeah.
You the flow of information is crazy healthy in Malaysia. People are
Which is actually really, really, it's a
mm,
positive thing,
yes,
because it's like we are in a way helping out each other, and
correct.
and this has to like continue, and the only way it continues is having this positive environment. We don't
Yeah.
have any this toxic nonsense, right?
Yeah.
So
Well said. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. No elitism. No like I jaga myself and I don't give a care.
exactly.
It's good to see that we have more healthy communities growing right now. Yeah, you probably find some bad apples here and there, and that's completely fine, right? It
Yep.
happens anywhere,
Yeah.
But just from Sunday alone and hearing what you have just mentioned on this interview, at least puts a lot of hope in the future generation of players and even us, old folk. I call us old folks now because we've been around for almost 10 years. We still get to enjoy the game, which is
Yes.
honestly great.
Yes.
Yeah,
And,
that
and
yeah.
and recently, I think recently some of the old players are coming back. I
Mm-hmm.
saw a few of them,
Yeah.
and then I was like, "Yo, what are y'all doing here?" They're like, like, I want to continue, start back again. And I'm like, "Yo, okay, nice, nice,
Yeah.
nice."
We're even
Yep.
seeing some of the older players bring their kids now, which
Yes,
is
yes. Oh my God, yes, they're bringing their
wow.
kids.
Just wow. Time has
Yep.
flown by and we're all old people now. Oh gosh. I should not have said that on this video. Anyway, moving on. We are at the end of our interview. Rinesh, thank you so much. A
Thank you, Aaron.
pleasure having you on this.
Don't mind if I do a shout out
I was
to
about to
some.
ask. I was about to ask before we
Okay.
end.
Okay.
Would you like to shout out to anybody at all that you want to pay some tribute to after
Yeah.
your impressive performance last weekend?
Okay. First of all, shout out to my friends, Shami Razak, Keng Fai, Aaron Lim, Kani, Shin, Austin, Adavan, all of y'all as Harmani, all of y'all has been a great help. Um, you all actually are the one who actually gave me advices and stuff. Thank you all so much. Um, it's not a one person win. I always say that it's not of course, it's a one person who played the card, but actually it's a team effort. And I see you all as my teammates, and thank you so much. Also, a shout out to MYU for being a chill out place to do our play testing and stuff. I would love to go to AMCC. By the way, I would love to go to MCC. Just that it's Klang, it's
It's
really
Clang.
far. But I
Yeah.
will come. I will come. Drop by one day, to play with you guys as well. Thank you to Aaron. Aaron, thank you so much for having me here.
No worries, man.
It's
It
like you always want to get interviewed by a top person, and here I am getting interviewed by one of the top commentators in
hey no
Southeast
it's
Asia. So thank you so much for having me. Do feel free. Anybody wants to text me or ask me anything about this deck, please do message me on Facebook, and I will gladly help you all. That is all. Thank you so much, Aaron.
perfectly well said. I could not have changed a single word of what you mentioned. I think it's awesome to have you as a winner. It's also to have you as a friend, and it's awesome to have you someone that I can interview on this channel. Shout out to you and your performance this past weekend. It was an impeccable performance, an undefeated performance this past weekend, and I'm just very glad that we had this chance to talk about your experience. So it's the end of this interview. Rinesh, thank you once again for your
Thank you so
time.
much.
Really hope every one of you who are watching at home, you can take something out of this. I know this is a much longer video than what we normally do, but I'm very glad we spent every single second in it because I get it so much from this almost half hour just speaking with this this champion of the biggest event in Malaysia, right? So without further ado, this is the end. I'll stop rambling. I'll let you go back to your day. Rinesh, once again, thank you. And we will see all of you again next time. See ya.
See you. Bye.